Hello, my name is Scoble-Williams. I'm a partner with Deloitte in Japan, and I have the privilege of leading Deloitte's Future of Work efforts for the Asia-Pacific region. I'm also a part of the author team for Deloitte's Global Human Capital Trends Report, and it's my absolute pleasure to be here to introduce you to our latest Human Capital Trends publication, our special report focusing on the evolving worker-employer relationship amid the uncertainties of this disrupted world of work that we are all living in and experiencing. Just to set the context for this special report, we recognised that over the last 18 months, employers and workers have been experiencing new pressures around worker loyalty, inequity, and the skills gap. 40% of the global workforce is considering leaving their employer, 63% of the workforce in Japan. 80% of job losses around the globe over the last 18 months have been lost to workers in the lowest quarter of wage earners. In Japan, 73% of the jobs lost have been lost to women. And we are now in a situation where 70% of employers around the globe are struggling to find the workers they need who have the right mix of technical skills and human capabilities. In Japan, we have 80% of employers very concerned about the talent and skill shortages in their industries. And it's really clear that whatever we thought the relationship was between workers and employers before the pandemic, that relationship is now in a state of flux. And as organisations recognise that their relationship with their workers is absolutely core to their enterprise success, they're facing the urgent need to be really deliberate about how they attract, engage and develop the talent that they need to be successful in thriving in uncertain futures. And this is exactly why we chose as our focal question for this special report, how might the worker-employer relationship evolve to meet the opportunities and challenges of the post-COVID world? As we embarked upon answering this question, we engaged with senior HR and business executives across the globe to bring a global cross-industry perspective, and we used a combination of traditional and new research techniques for this report, including social media polling, live survey polling, and AI-enabled focus groups. And importantly, for the first time in the 11-year history of the report, this research also includes the voice of the worker. And here you see some of the important, powerful findings from our research right up front. 86% of the executives that we surveyed believe that workers will gain greater independence and influence relative to employers in the future. And yet 63% of workers told us they think their relationship with their employers will either become stronger or stay the same moving forward. Absolutely fascinating and really setting the scene for the powerful insights that we explore in the special report. When we asked executives what external factors they expect to have the greatest impact on how the worker-employer relationship may evolve moving forward, multiple factors surfaced, including things like economic growth, the use of technology in business, unexpected disasters, climate change, and social divides in access to resources such as education, wealth, and health. But beyond the rest, it was talent supply and government impact that rose to the top as the two external factors that executives told us they expect to have the greatest influence on the relationship moving forward. The most evident impact of talent supply is the different actions that organisations or workers might take depending on how easy or difficult it is to get a job or to secure an appropriately skilled worker. For instance, talent supply could influence whether organisations are likely to invest in reskilling, to what extent workers may seek changes in their employers or careers, how organisations could use the alternative workforce to access the skills and capabilities they need, as well as how heavily an organisation might lean on technology to replace, augment, or collaborate with their workforce. In terms of government impact, the type, consistency, speed, and effectiveness of government impact could all influence the worker-employer relationship. For instance, government effectiveness in driving social change, such as policies around worker representation or protection, or actions to address concerns such as climate change or social injustice, could shift workers' expectations of their employers to attend to such issues. Public policy and regulation protecting jobs and wages, enhancing social safety nets and benefits, improving access to education, or investments in reskilling could decrease workers' reliance on their employers for these types of things. And public policies that restrict or create an additional burden on organisations who are seeking to create work in new geographies, access talent across borders, or leverage alternative workforce segments could really influence workforce planning and talent strategies. And from the very early stages of our research, it was very clear to us that there is no one answer as to how the worker-employer relationship may evolve, that we needed to embrace scenario planning to explore the possible futures of the worker-employer relationship, recognizing that the future is not something we can control, as influence over external factors and uncertainties is limited. But while neither workers nor organisations control which future comes to bear, they can control the way they prepare for and respond to those conditions, either individually or together. So thinking in terms of possibilities instead of certainties allowed us to examine challenges in light of what could happen, the art of the possible, and how we might best prepare and be empowered to respond. So in the context of those two key drivers of talent supply and government impact, we explored 4 possible futures in the report for how the worker-employer relationship may evolve moving forward. In the work is work future, the relationship between workers and employers is professional. Each depends on the other to fulfill work-related needs, but both fully expect that workers will find meaning and purpose largely outside of their work. In a workers' fashion future, the relationship between workers and employers is reactive. Here we have employers feeling compelled to chase and respond in the moment to worker demands, competitor moves, and marketplace dynamics without connecting those actions to a sustainable workforce strategy. And it's our hypothesis that workers' fashion may be the dominant future for 2021 and 2022. In a war between talent future, the relationship between workers and employers is impersonal. Here we have an oversupply of talent. Workers are viewed by employers as being interchangeable, easily replaceable. And workers are more concerned about competing with each other for jobs than they are with the quality of their relationship with their employer. And then in a purpose unleashed future, the relationship between workers and employers is communal. Both workers and employers see shared purpose as the foundation of their relationship, viewing it as the most important tie that binds them together. Now, what is most important to understand is that these 4 futures are illustrative only. They are not exhaustive. They each coexist together, and there is no one future that is any better or worse than any other, nor is there any one preferred future. Each of the futures can bring out certain strengths for employers and workers, as well as introduce certain risks that need to be navigated, depending on the choices that workers and employers make within each of the different futures. Organisations will likely find themselves in some combination of these futures, depending on the needs and expectations of their workforce, their industry, their regions, and the communities in which they operate. Most important is to understand the internal and external drivers that are likely to have the greatest impact and influence on that worker-employer relationship, and that each of the possible futures requires a different call to action in how we need to go about creating a compelling and differentiated worker-employer relationship that will be sustainable moving forward. Our focus in the report is on helping understand the choices in front of us and the impact those choices may have. Most importantly, the report highlights that each of the futures call for a different approach in how we make those choices, regardless of what future we may find ourselves in or headed towards. So as we make those choices in a way that will position the organisation and its workers to thrive moving forward. And here we can see just that. We can see that in a work is work future, the employee value proposition must centre the worker experience around the work itself. We need to focus on making the work meaningful and ensuring that workers can see how their individual contribution for their work ties to the larger whole. However, in a purpose unleashed future, the importance of purpose trumps the importance of the work. And the employee value proposition must position purpose as the core tenet of the worker experience and the talent brand. We need to focus on giving workers that meaningful voice in co-creating and executing the organisation's purpose. To offer a closing message, we are in a moment of choice and consequence. We're setting a bold destination for all organisational strategies. Business, workforce, and social is absolutely vital. There's a lot at stake. The choices that we make in navigating the different possible futures will impact our ability to attract, engage, and develop the talent that we need in order to thrive. And we believe that this report is important and relevant to every organisation today, offering powerful insights and guidance around being deliberate and bold in setting that vision and strategy for creating a differentiated and sustainable worker-employer relationship moving forward. I trust that this brief introduction sets the stage for you to go away and read the full report and dive deeper into the powerful insights and perspective that it offers. Enjoy, please stay safe, and we look forward to continuing to share our global human capital trends research and publications with you. Bye-bye for now.